Hey everybody, this is On Screen, Off Screen, a show where we like to talk about our media's intake throughout the week, how it impacts us, and how we impact what we're consuming. I'm just gonna get into it. Conlon, you've got quite a bit of notes, so let's get started with you.
Okay, so I watched Malcolm in the Middle, Life's Still Unfair. I was very interested in this show. I do like the original Malcolm in the Middle, even though I haven't watched it in a long time. And I think that I'm mostly positive on this show. I do think if you're a fan, it's worth watching. I think that it's flawed. Um, One of the big flaws is that obviously the guy who plays Hal, Breaking Bad guy, very big actor, um, he popped off after the show. He went from being a blue collar to being an A-list actor, and because of that, they make the story largely about Hal. They're basically doing a what's it called? Um, Anniversary. They're doing an anniversary, and this time Lois is going to celebrate Hal because Hal always celebrates Lois. And so there, Lois is like, you can't do anything romantic. You have to be chill. And Hal's having to deal with that. He's also having to deal with the fact that his kids are grown and who is he now? How does he deal with that? In episode 3, he takes this trip because he's going through some major problems. Reese basically is making fun of him and it's causing him to go through a downward spiral. And the major trip is honestly amazing. Bryan Cranston is an incredible actor. He deserves the accolades that he gets. And during the trip, he's dealing with two sides of himself, the goofy side and more of the Breaking Bad type character. And the fact that there is bad inside of Hal, he doesn't have to, he can deal with it healthily. And I think Josh will actually like it a lot. It is a guy dealing with emotional aspects and that being okay. And they do it really, really well. His acting is incredible. And it is a high point of the show. But I think it's a mistake to have that be the high point of the show because Malcolm in the Middle isn't about the parents, it's about the kids. Something that I think is unique about the show is they made the parents real people and they balanced it against the main focal point, which was the kids. I think that's a hard thing to do because a lot of other shows that make the parents real people, they're still goofy parents and you're seeing it through the children's eyes versus the parents being real people also. I remember watching the show when I was a kid and it helped me come to grips with the fact that my parents were people and not parents, if you get what I mean. I think they did a good job with that. With this show, they focus on the parents so much that they don't give the kids enough time to be the focal point. So you never really see the brothers interacting with each other. And that's the point of Malcolm in the Middle. So they miss a lot of the point of the show, which is this brotherly brotherly connection that is the point of the show. And that misses a lot of what could have been great. The other thing that I didn't really like about the show is I don't like when they change characters in a way that doesn't make sense. My example of this was Luke Skywalker. A lot of people hate it because Luke wouldn't become that person. And they made Stevie gay. I don't have a problem with Stevie being gay. I don't have a problem with them adding a gay character into the show, but Stevie, we've had enough time with him to know that he's not gay. And they could have done it with Dewey. We didn't really see that much of him. He had like one little childhood crush towards the end of the show, but that's about it. We could have done it with Jeremy, the younger brother than Dewey, who we barely spend any time with at all. He could have been the gay character. Like they had different options if they wanted to do something like that, to have the representation or whatever it is. But Stevie doesn't make sense. His character was not gay. It just didn't. I didn't like that. I don't like when they change something out of the blue. The other thing that I didn't like on an opposite side is I don't like when characters don't change at all and they don't develop. It's been 20 years and there should be some kind of development of the character that makes some kind of sense. And they have Francis, who Josh, when he talked about the show, it bugged him that he just kept reverting. I think the character would grow some. He's become the manager of a major operation. He's got a wife, he's got a kid coming along, and he's still just so worried about his mom not putting him higher on the list of importance. He's 40 something years old. He's got a great wife. He has a good life. I would have just liked to have seen him grow up a little bit more. And they didn't do that, unfortunately. Those are kind of my negatives, and it came with quite a few positives. My biggest positive is actually Malcolm and his daughter. I love Malcolm's daughter. They did such a good job. They had Malcolm's daughter do the exact same thing Malcolm would do, where he would stop and he would talk to the camera. And they caught that feel of what Malcolm in the Middle is like. And I was very impressed with that aspect of it. The daughter has a great personality. She's dealing with a lot of the struggles of being a genius also and having to relate to her dad and being a loser and kind of an outcast and not being able to turn off her analytical mind where she realizes that everybody's making fun of her and she just can't stop seeing it. And it was a very interesting character. They did a good job with the mother, with the daughter father dynamic of the two. Malcolm is dating somebody and he's trying to introduce her to the daughter. They want everything to go together. He wants a good family life. He's been avoiding his family to try to have more peace, to live up to the expect and to not have to deal with the pressures of living up to the expectations of his mom that he can never seem to make live up to. He's never going to be president of the United States. It doesn't matter how successful he is. He's never enough in his own mind. She just wanted him to be great. She's proud of him. One of my favorite parts of the show is when they have a talk and they fight it out. And Lois just says, we're incredibly proud of you. You pushed, you fought, you created something, you're doing something amazing. It was a cool, touching moment of the show. It was really good. I think Hal is fantastic. I went into that a little bit. He acts like him. Bryan Cranston literally captured that character after 20 years perfectly. It's actually crazy. Like, he does such a good job. I think online I've seen a lot of people who talk about Reese as being a bad thing. Reese is probably my favorite depiction of a character growing that I've seen in one of these shows where 10 years passes, 20 years passes, because it still feels like Reese, but he's slightly different. It feels like the character has changed. It has evolved. And I think people don't like it because they didn't have Reese become a success overnight. I think his character could have become somebody where he runs a kitchen and he becomes an excellent chef, and he's a top tier kind of a guy. I think he could have had a Bear moment if you guys have seen the show The Bear, but it also could have been something where he kind of like lets his life fall apart. And I'm cool with either of those developments. And they did the development of letting his life fall apart, but it feels authentic and it feels like it did change the character, which I appreciate a lot. And then the one that surprised me the most, the jokes are good, most of them land. It does feel like Malcolm in the Middle. There's a lot of good to be here. They made the youngest son a transgender, which I, on a political level, usually am not super for, to be honest. And I'm shocked that I enjoyed what they did as much as I did. Like, it genuinely surprised me. They could have just made the youngest child a daughter. We didn't know. At the very last episode of original Malcolm in the Middle, we know that she's pregnant again. That's all that we really know. Could have just been a daughter. But they developed the character, made the character very interesting, and the struggles that the character is going through because of them not feeling like they belong in, that they're in the right body. The typical argument was very well done. It was very heartfelt. The character was interesting. They belong in the family. They fit in really well, but they have to deal with these brothers that are kind of screw ups, and the fact that they are the only one that hasn't been a screw up, doesn't have a juvie record, and they still have to deal with, can I get enough attention in this larger family dynamic? It was really, really well done. I was super impressed. Generally, for somebody who's usually more against that aspect, it was great. Like, very, very impressive. The ending feels pretty satisfying overall. It is a good show with just a few quirks that could have been better, a few nostalgic aspects that really didn't need to be in it. Like nobody's gonna bring a picture of Spangler to a anniversary. Nobody's gonna do that. Spangler's been gone for a really long time. It was kind of cheesy and lame. Little things like that, but they were little things. In the grand scheme of things, it was funny, it was fresh, characters felt good, they developed it well. It was a good show. I'm giving it a 6.5 because I don't think I would rewatch it, even if I rewatched Malcolm in the Middle, but I don't regret watching it because I did have a good time.
Uh, okay, cool. I'm glad you liked it. Alex Myers has a video on it. He basically
Yeah,
disagrees with you on everything.
I
Um,
know.
he also watched Malcolm in the Middle earlier. For me, the biggest downside to this show is the brothers not interacting. The other thing he points out is that in the original show, when you watch it as an adult, you kind of understand why Lois is mad and raging and she makes sense. And in this one, she just kind of is doing that for the sake of doing it, and having the brothers do the hijinks and then having the reaction would be a better choice. But I'm not going to watch it anyway. I'm not going to watch it. Wasn't going to watch it before. But for anybody who's
Was
interested, Alex Myers makes great videos. He has a video on this.
Alex Myers does make great videos. You weren't interested enough to try it out? Okay. Yeah.
No. It was a reunion episode that got turned into a movie that got turned into a 4 episode show. And the only people who seemed to really want it is Frankie Muniz, and Bryan Cranston. Apparently, the whole thing happened because Bryan Cranston pushed for it and had the power to make it happen. Everybody else is kind of along for the ride. In Alex Myers' video, he's like, I don't even understand why Dewey wouldn't come back to play just Dewey for these 4 episodes. And I thought
I don't either.
it makes total sense. I
Why?
don't.
His
He left
fat
acting.
paycheck.
He doesn't want to act. He doesn't want to be in the spotlight. He doesn't want to do all the interviews and everything that comes with it.
That's fair.
And like very intentionally was like, I'm distancing myself. And the thing that like to come back for is a show like this. Like I don't know. It's not like a big budget movie or anything. The actor that they got to play Dewey looks just like the original one. Like I don't care one bit. I've been seeing like tons and tons of interviews of the actors coming on and talking about the show. Frankie Muniz and Bryan Cranston did Hot Ones versus for the show. Very entertaining stuff, very interesting stuff. Uh,
Yeah.
but do I care about Malcolm in the Middle itself? No. Do I care about a reunion special that got turned into a movie that got turned into a show that is not the show? No. But so anyway,
Okay.
I watched the video.
Yeah.
That was my point. I watched the video just because I knew I wasn't going to watch the show. But I'm glad you liked it pretty well. I hope
Yeah,
most
that's
people
pretty
do.
good.
Uh, Sequel stuff, I'm fine with. It's not a reboot, so I will cheer it on for not being a reboot. All right. We're going to get going on to my first topic. And that is a little thing that Lauren introduced me to a little while ago. Um, when I was living in Utah, I used to do a camping trip for all my friends. And Lauren hates good music, and I didn't have other things downloaded. So it's like, well, what are we going to listen to? And she's like, well, I've been telling you to listen to this thing for so long, and you won't do it. So now we're going to listen to it. I don't actually remember that being the case, but it sounds about right. So we listened to a thing created by the BBC, starring Benedict Cucumber and whatever the other guy's name is. Hold on, let me actually get it because he's a fairly big actor.
John Finnemore.
Yep. John Finnemore, and it is a audio storytelling play acted thing called Cabin Pressure.
Okay.
It was
It's
made
called
for
a
the
radio show.
a radio show, I guess. This says radio series. I don't know. I don't think of this as a radio show because to me, a radio show is you just turned into KGB and we are giving away tickets. Be the first caller. That's what I think a radio show is. I don't know. It's
Mm,
like a TV show, but audio for the radio. Anyway, I wish there was more of this. They start off where each episode is for a letter of the alphabet. So A is Azerbaijan, B is whatever, C is whatever. And Benedict and John Finnemore are pilots of this like really small airline that does just private jet flying. And you have the owner who's like always on this plane for some reason, and her son who plays the airline attendant, even though they don't actually need an airline attendant, and he's just so lovable and dumb. And like, this sounds like something for somebody like me with aphantasia that you wouldn't enjoy at all because everything is so visual in how and like the jokes, right? Like they play the lemon game where they hide a lemon in the cabin and then the pilots take turns going and finding the lemon and moving the lemon. Like I can't imagine that. I have no I picturing like that is not a thing that I do, so I should not enjoy this kind of thing. I absolutely love this kind of thing. They get to a point where Elemental P is all one episode, and I was like, no, I want all of those to have their. I want more of this. I want so much more of this. This is so enjoyable. It is a. Most episodes have a few really good laughs in them. There are a couple of episodes that I was just laughing the entire time. It is so funny. The performances are great. I only have one criticism of this thing, and it's so stupid it's not going to impact my rating, and that is the owner starts to date this guy, and the guy is played by the
Her,
bad guy in Ted Lasso, and I can't not hear that. So I'm like, no, he's an asshole. He's not supposed to be charming. What is this garbage? That's it. That is my only negative point. They're easily digestible. Each episode is between 20 and like 35 minutes, I think. You love the characters. None of them are irritating, even though, like, the way they're written, you could be like, wow, the flight attendant could be really irritating. Or the owner could be really nagging and irritating. Or our captain could be really irritating. Or our first mate could be really irritating. But they're so well performed. None of them are irritating. All of them are lovable. Every single one of them does a fantastic job. And given the actors who play the main two, Benedict Cumberbatch and
John Finnemore.
John Finnemore, they are exactly what you would expect them to be. Like, John Finnemore is an arrogant, lovable, like, you just hear it. It's so perfect. The casting is great. The way it's played is great. Everything's phenomenal. I want more of this. Please, more Cabin Pressure. BBC, bring back Cabin Pressure. It is so funny. It's so great.
I think John Finnemore is actually Arthur, not the other pilot.
Okay. Well, whoever it is.
Yeah.
Absolutely fantastic. 10 out of 10. I do actually have one other criticism now that I think about it. I don't love the ending. Um, just
Yeah.
because it's like they discover gold and that's what and I was like, okay. We could have
so
just like not had that and it'd be fine. It was just like this extreme like thing that happens. I was like, okay.
I was like, I did like it as why the one guy really wanted this trash jet and why this trash jet was so hard to handle.
I get it. And like honestly, I was hoping it was something different. The fact that it was like they changed the wiring in the plane to be wired from gold, I was like, okay, that is just so ridiculously stupid. I thought it was going to be like a deed to a property that's hidden behind a panel or, a safety deposit box key or something like that. And I would have been totally fine with that. But I was like, they changed the wiring to an entire plane so that the wiring is made from gold. I was like, okay, that is just so big of a swing for this little show. I was like, okay, that's a little ridiculous. I love what happens to all the characters. Martin getting his airline, getting to fly for a real airline, you know, them getting to keep their airline open, the love interest becoming the new first mate, and the other guy getting promoted to captain. Pretty good. I kind of thought it would be more funny if he was still just the first mate and the love interest got to be captain. But it's also like it's so well made. You actually see what's the character's name? Starts with a D.
um, oh, wait,
Douglas. You see
Douglas.
Douglas start to do Martin things, and there's even an episode where he's like freaking out because he did a Martin thing, and then he gets to be captain, and then you have the dynamic of him being a him version of Martin with a Douglas type character as the first mate is it's still really really great. 10 out of 10. Everybody should listen to this. It is phenomenal. This is one that I have downloaded on my phone, and I'm going to keep being downloaded on my phone. It is such an easy, like, I could just, oh, I've got 30 minutes to listen to something, shuffle, play any one of the episodes, and it's fantastic. It is so good.
So is it like I see the episodes have names of places? Are they just going to those places? Is that the
To the
idea?
places, at the place, from the place, vaguely about the place. So, what is the one in the middle of Africa?
Oh yeah, I say it twice because I mean it.
Yeah,
Oh, no, I can't think
famous
of.
for being super far to get to.
Oh, why can't I think
Uh,
of? I'm gonna have to like look through my.
I'm gonna pull it up.
That's what I was doing.
Cabin pressure.
Let's see.
Timbuktu.
Oh yeah, Timbuktu, Timbuktu.
Yeah, but they're not actually going to Timbuktu in that one. But they're
But they're pretending
saying they're
they're going.
pretending to go to Timbuktu. Uh, it's great. They have guest stars. The guest stars all do a great job. They have interweaving storylines. The fact that they make the like there's an episode where they're driving around together on the ground and they make it feel different than when they're flying is great. There's a running joke throughout the show that I didn't laugh to a single time until the last time they did it in the final episode. And that's the flight attendant plays yellow car in the car. So every time they're driving on the ground, he's like, yellow car. And then it gets to the point where Martin starts playing yellow car. And then in the very last episode, they're going to save the plane and they're driving, and Douglas just out of the blue says, yellow car. And it is the funniest yellow car in the entire show. The fact that they like set that up so early on and made me laugh to it technically 4 seasons later is extraordinary. Um, I'm gonna look up and see if there's more BBC stuff like this to listen to. because it's funny, it's great, it's positive, it's enjoyable to listen to. I started listening to it because I was flying over to Oahu. I kept listening to it when I should have been doing work or other things, and then I was still listening to it when I flew back. Like, great. I'll never get sick of this. It's phenomenal. Lauren, you're a genius for knowing about this thing. Um, 10 out of 10, no notes.
This is yeah, my friend, she was my roommate at the time. She made all of us like sit down, and it was like general conference for anybody. It's an LDS thing. And then in between that, she's like, we have to listen to Cabin Pressure. And so she made us all just stay in the living room while we were like eating to listen to Cabin Pressure. And then I was like, can you send that to me? Because I want to keep listening. But I think like some of my favorite episodes are Ipswich and Kick Kick Tarjuak, which is what Josh had mentioned. He like texted me, he's like, this one's my favorite. Um, and it's really funny because in Ipswich, they are going to a training, and so they have to like make sure that they know everything about like cabin rules, flight rules, things like that, to make sure that they are cleared to keep continuing their flight line. And it's just like so funny because at one point, Arthur, who's the idiot, makes it so that they don't pass. But then they're like, ooh, there is a rule that says like you need 19 passengers to have a cabin person. They're like, really, he's just a really helpful guest. He's not actually a cabin boy. So we can take him out of the test and we can pass. And it's just so funny, like having the arrogant pilot talking through all of these things, because you have this, the one that's in second command is a very seasoned,
Douglas.
arrogant pilot. Yeah, Douglas. And then you have the captain who's not getting paid to be a pilot, so he can get like he's not getting paid so that he can get the experience, and he's very much by the book and very high strung, and it's just a really fun dynamic. And I think Benedict Cumberbatch does a beautiful job of voicing that. And then you also have, yeah, the voice actors on this are, it's great to listen to. And then Kick Kick Tarjuak is where they go on an excursion to look at polar bears. And the whole time, the arrogant pilot is just trolling this other pilot because somebody mentioned that he seemed professional. And he's like, yes, I am professional. Thank you. I'll keep this one in line. And so Douglas is like, oh, will you? And so the whole time he's just trolling him. And it's beautiful and it's great. And yeah, he makes Benedict Cumberbatch's character come up with a whole story of why he was in a French battalion that wasn't French, but he speaks French, and it's a famous thing for being the desert of. Anyway, the whole story was just the whole opposite thing, and he convinced everybody that he was French and that he had to speak in French. It's great.
You didn't
I
even mention the best joke in the other one you were talking about.
where they fly. It was like
So they're going through the training, like Lauren just said, and they're doing a class, and the instructor is like, since you're first mate and not captain, how would you handle communicating with the captain? And he's like, try this. Excuse me, I might be wrong. We are might not have enough fuel to get to our destination. What do you think about that? And Douglas, being arrogant, knowing that he's the better pilot, thinks that he's or pretending he's talking to Martin, the know-it-all thing. He goes, "Okay, let me try this. Pardon me, I might be wrong. There is a mountain in the way." I think if we don't pull up, we all might die. What do you think about that? And it keeps coming up throughout the episode. There's like an actual urgent situation with the owner, older lady, and he goes, "Pardon me, I might be wrong." And she's like, "We need this to happen now." And he's like, "I'm not finished yet." It is so funny. It's such a great time. Literally everybody listened to it. I can't imagine anybody not liking this. It is so funny. It is so good.
Yeah.
That
I
sounds funny.
I try to get anybody to listen to it that I can because it's not well known,
Yeah.
but it's great.
So is it? There's 4 series, and each one of them's like 3 hours long. It looks like.
The last series is just a couple of episodes. Like I
Okay.
said, I think the idea was to have it'd be 26 episodes because it starts out with A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, P, Q. And it's like, okay, I
I'm
wish they had done
wondering
more.
why you think that because I have 26 episodes, 26 distinct episodes.
I have 27
I,
episodes, but the last one is two. It's part
Oh,
one and
yep,
part
you're right.
two. Uh,
what are you guys listening to it on?
I have it shared with me on a drive, a Google Drive.
so there
Okay.
are 26 episodes, so I am wrong about that. One of them is a promo for season two, weirdly. But regardless, I want 50 episodes of this. I want this to have 100 episodes. I want Benedict Cumberbatch to do nothing but play this. And I am very pleased to have found that there is a follow up called Cabin Fever. So it's on YouTube. Gonna be looking that up after this. Hope it's good.
Cool. I read something. I was just looking on YouTube, and one of the comments was, "This is the best thing that Ben has ever done." Do you agree?
Yeah. What would be better than this?
I don't know. I have no idea.
I
So
mean, his
my take
biggest things are Sherlock. I don't like the Sherlock show. I think it's super overrated. I think it has highs and some pretty low lows. And you
Okay.
have Doctor Strange, which is good, but not like it's not the best Marvel movie.
he was Khan.
Barely probable top 10. He's Khan in the worst representation of Khan, but still a good movie. So there is that. And then there's this, which I just gave a 10 out of 10. So what could be better than a 10 out of 10? I don't know. It's, it's just great. Super awesome.
Okay. I'll check it out, guys. What did you watch it on, Josh?
I sailed it for it and
Okay.
just downloaded it. Yeah.
Cool.
I don't think it's on anything.
I see people who've like shared it on like random YouTube channels where you can kind of
Yeah.
like piece it all together. But that's about it. Okay, cool. Cool.
Okay. Next topic is also kind of a shared topic for us. It is Mighty Nine, not the show, the D&D thing. I started listening to it. My original plan was to um, listen to a section of the podcast and then watch the episode. I incorrectly assumed that the show would follow the timeline of the D&D play. Oh boy, was I so wrong. Because I listened to the intro. I'm 5 episodes in. I got to know the characters. They just proved their freedom, and then I turned on the show and I was like, what the hell is going on? What are we even doing? Um, so I watched 1 episode of the show. I was not impressed. I listened to 5 episodes of the show. I was very impressed. Uh, Matt Mercer is phenomenal. He is doing what God intended him to do better than anybody else on planet freaking Earth. Um, I was talking to Lauren about it, and I was like, I had kind of an idea that I've been wanting to play D&D lately, but don't really have a group here and don't have a remote group there. So I was like, I had an idea. Maybe I'll start a streaming channel where I'll just go live and play with, run campaigns for people who just hop on. And Matt Mercer is so fantastic at what he does. I was like, I don't want to do that even in the slightest anymore, because there's no way I would be a flea in to his level of
He's so
DMing.
good.
He's so good at what he does. As for the Mighty Nine itself, the campaign on YouTube, I really love how they introduce all those characters. I really love most of the characters. I love the thought process that they go through. I hate that. What's her name, Lauren?
Uh, no,
My
not
favorite.
Laura. Ashley.
Ashley is only on it for those few episodes because she is my favorite of the group, plain and simple. She is the funniest. She is the wittiest. She is the best. She is so good. And in these episodes, she plays her role so freaking good. And then
Who
she
does
leaves,
Ashley
and
play
I'm
again?
like, oh,
Yasha.
Oh, yeah. Where did she go for a while? I know she was gone, but I don't know why she actually
Last of
left.
Us.
Oh,
she's doing The Last of Us. At the end, when she leaves, Matt Mercer says, hey, other campaign, kill her off so we can have her back. So I think she was just really busy doing a lot of other stuff, which is unfortunate because, like I said, she's my favorite. Every
she's
time
great.
there's a clip and she is in it, she is the best part of the clip. Um, Great intro. I'm very intrigued. I will continue to listen to it. My negative notes for it is I'm watching it on YouTube because I like to see all the miniatures and the reactions and all that kind of stuff.
Hmm.
And there's like 15 minutes of ads in the middle and like 20 minutes of like just music and fan art at the end and in the middle too. And I'm like, let's cut this out. I'm tired of pressing skip forward because I want to get to the actual meat of what I'm doing. Which, by the way, it is cool that they do that. It is super cool that they take a break and in their break they show fan art, they play the music, they do all that.
That's cool.
Super, super cool. On a re listen, I'm like, hey, that's cool, but I'm not watching this live. And I don't have an infinite amount of time. So if there was like a skip forward to the end of this button, that would be really appreciated. Or if you just like cut it out, because why would I do that? And like one of the ads is always like how to play a board game. And I'm like, well, I don't have that board game, nor a group to play board games with. I don't care about the rules to whatever this board game is. It is cool that you are advertising that channel, but I think there's a better way to advertise the channel than to have the person actually just teach a board game. Oh, very good. Very interested. I know I haven't gotten to any of the meat of the main story or any of the side quests. I have literally just got through the intro. But very, very good.
It's excellent. And I talked about how impressed I was with Matt, particularly like, hopefully you don't remember the twist that I said because it's nuts. But the twist that he didn't expect to come, and he just like goes with it and makes the story flow and makes so much sense, was mind-bogglingly good. Like, so impressive.
And like a thing that they love to do on the channel is just speak to random NPCs to try to get him
Yeah,
off balance. He always has a name. He always has like a new voice or whatever, and
and a lot
yeah,
of them
he's on it.
funny,
There
like
was like
really funny.
one moment in I think it was Vox Machina where he's like Carl, and they're like, "Oh, really? This dwarf's name's Carl or whatever," because he usually has like these really these really good names, and he's like, he normally just has a whole bunch of names listed so that when they do something like that, and it's crazy. I've seen some of his videos that he puts out on how to be a good DM and stuff, and it's the prep he does is insane. And I'm really glad that he's taking time off being a DM because I know how much work he puts into being a DM.
And I'm so impressed with the fact that he has the entire world going at the same time. Where there's events where he'll be like, if you would have gone here, this is the event that you would have been a part of, but it just kind of happened without you. And that people don't do that, and that adds so much to the world and the story. It's really impressive. Right now, I'm where they're at the apothecary, and Ford is having to flirt with the like little like apothecary goblin thing, and it is hilarious. He did such a good job with that voice and like, ooh, big boy. It was so funny,
So freaking funny. Yeah.
so funny,
Yeah.
very impressive.
You can talk freely. By the time I get there, I will have forgotten what you said.
Okay, it's hilarious, and I love the little twist with why the apothecary is doing what they're doing with like the drug smuggling stuff. It's really good. Like, you added a lot of complexity and made magic drug smuggling so much more interesting than it could have been. It's great.
Yeah. His
Great.
world building is insane.
Yeah, very very impressive. Anybody watching should listen to it. I've got one of my coworkers. He's very much like a jock sales bro, but his brother runs D&D campaigns for a living. Like, that's what he does for work, which is awesome. He's the one who put together the thing at Provo Mall where they broke the record with most people playing D&D. He put that whole thing together. And I got to talk to the brother a little bit, and he's like, Matt Mercer is my hero. He's the person I try to be every single day. It's really cool.
It's crazy.
It's really cool.
All right. I think with that, we're going to go ahead and move on to our shared topic. Lauren, this is all you, so we're going to get started with you.
Okay. So I've been wanting everybody to watch this because I think this is the best My Hero Academia movie. Honestly, I think I just love the final battle so much that I excuse everything else in this movie. Because there are some other villains that I'm like, yeah, whatever. There's a wolf dude and that one chick. It's fine, whatever. Let's get back to Zuko and Bakugo. This, like, I remember trying to get to watch this in 2020, and I was like looking anywhere to watch it because this was my hyperfixation at the time as My Hero Academia. And I could not find anywhere. I just had this little edit of like what was going on, so I really wanted to watch this movie. Finally, I just bought it. Found some way to buy it. And actually, no, this was my first time I went to the high seas, and then I bought it later. And I love the idea that the writer for the manga, he makes sure that he doesn't repeat any tropes that happen in the movies. And so I was kind of sad that he wasn't gonna do a thing where, because with Midoriya gets power from eating All Might's hair, and so he transfers his power over to Bakugo to amplify his power, and then he gets like they transfer it back to Midoriya. But it's like so cool when they're fighting together because these two were kind of like they're enemies to friends ish, or like finally colleagues. But they find a way to work together. And in some ways, Bakugo kind of respects Zuko at this point. And I just absolutely love the music that goes with this fight. And I love the animation of this fight. Chef's kiss. There's one part where Deku is hurt and he's trying to protect these two kids. And this one kid's power is throwing up illusions. So she does like this illusion of this huge blow up thing of Deku just beat your crown. You couldn't have put like a message as your illusion. You had to put up. He looks like this guy. I thought that was really funny. Um, I like the idea of the villain in this one where he's like he can steal quirks, but he's only limited to how many, and it's like making it so that he's dying quicker, and so he has to find something to heal him, which is why they're after this kid. And I don't know. I'm like a sucker for this movie because one, the focus is like the heroes are trying to save the kids, and the kid's like, just let him take me. Like, it's not worth all of this. And then like Deku's like, no, we're protecting you. You're a kid. Like, and then you're like, wait, you're a kid, Deku. Like, what the heck? But it's just like I love the little protectiveness that like comes out of all of these heroes because like these kids want to be heroes for the sake of being a hero and not for like the glamour of it. There are some characters that are like that, and that's what this anime is showing is that like you should be a hero for wanting to be a hero. And I think like even though Bakugo is kind of like hot headed and a jerk and a bully, he wants to be a hero to be a hero, but it's in a different font than Deku wanting to be a hero. And so I really like how that clashes in this movie. Anyway, I love this movie.
What is your rating?
I am very biased, and I'm saying it's 10 out of 10, even with the things that I know have problems with it, but I just love it so much.
Okay, Conlon, what are your thoughts on it?
Okay, I really enjoyed this. I just enjoyed it like on a basic level. I enjoyed this. The beginning feels very whimsical to me, but Lauren lied to us and she said it was the end of season 4. We start the movie and what's the flame guy's name again?
Oh, Endeavor?
Endeavor is totally like chasing down an automobile. Like, where the frig? He was just in a hospital. Did they literally just like, is this a flash forward? What's going on? And I started watching more of it. I don't know what is happening. So I watched the first half of season 5 so I could catch up because it's like halfway through the show. Anyway, Josh.
That was not Lauren, that was me.
Oh,
And
was it?
it's towards the end of season 4. It is not between season 4 and season 5, is my rating.
Anyway, so I watched some more of the show so I catch up, and then I watched this. But it starts off, and the start is a cool chase scene that's not quite like anything else in the show, and I was instantly intrigued. And then it gets to where it kind of feels like Studio Ghibli kind of a like cozy vibe when they're on the beach and they're saving people is the vibe I got from it. Something that I like about My Hero is there's very little wasted time. All the episodes, even the filler episodes, are pretty charming, and I was charmed by the coziness. I'm usually not as cozy, but I was just like, cool, they're saving people on the beach, helping old grannies. I love this. And then it gets to the end, and it's absolutely epic. The kids are they're very enjoyable. They're just fun kids. Like they did a good job with the animation. They did a good job with the voice. I cared about these kids. I wanted them to be safe, um, which was a big win. The fight is super cool when they both have the All Might power. I'm like, yes, let's freaking go. So it goes from this is badass to wow, this is so cozy to holy crap, this is badass to holy crap, this is badass to ah. And that is this movie. That is my representation of the emotions going through this movie. And I had a fantastic time. Like genuinely just it was just good. It was just entertaining. It was easily one of my most fun times watching an anime. It's very worth your time. If you like My Hero, I don't know why you wouldn't watch this. I literally can't think of a reason. I'm giving it a 9 just because I don't like my hero as much as Lauren, but I genuinely really had a good time with this movie.
Good. That's really, really good. So for me, I have a confession. I was not able to watch this because I was traveling this last weekend. So
Okay.
when I say not watch this, I mean like I didn't sit and watch it beginning to end. I started watching this and I was like, hold up, wait a minute, I've seen this before. So this is actually my second time watching this because the first time I was hanging out with Lauren, I believe it was when I visited Utah. We were waiting for Brandon and Ellie to come over, and Lauren just had a movie on, and I'm pretty sure it was this movie. And to illustrate how good this movie is, um, I am very good at giving my attention to conversations instead of shows. It is one thing my mom says she really appreciates about me is that I don't let the show overcome my attention. Now, normally I will pause a show or just turn it off when I'm having a conversation. In this instance, Lauren was in the kitchen and talking to me, and I could not tell you what Lauren said, and I do apologize for that because I was just like, "What is this show? This is so freaking cool!" Now I didn't at the time. I missed like the first like 15 minutes, and I think we may have ended it a little bit early because they showed up. It may have been an entirely different time that I was visiting Lauren, and I could be dead wrong on my timeline. But I did very much just like didn't know the characters, didn't know the show, didn't know what it was called, and I was sitting there like, this is fantastic. I am loving this. I am so brought into this. So, my review of the movie is what these two just said, plus it is exceptional at what it is in terms of the grander scheme of things. So, in Hannah Montana, we have the Hannah Montana movie. The movie doesn't really play into the overall aspect of the show. It kind of acts like its own thing. They reference it a couple of times in the show, but it doesn't really matter. Like you could just not watch the movie and you would miss nothing. And you could just watch the movie and miss nothing about the show. And that's kind of how a lot of these like movies from shows go, even in anime. And in this one, I was watching skimming through it really quickly. I was sitting there going like, it is amazing how well it adds to the show without being so important that like
It's a really good
it
point.
is a really good one-off like thing. But at the
It's a really good
same
point.
time, the first time I watched it, I had no idea what it was or what it was connected to or had seen anything My Hero and still loved it. So it is standalone. It fits into the story. It adds to the characters of the story. And yet, you can know nothing about the pre-existing stuff and still love this. The fights are epic. The stories are interesting. The heroes are great.
Villain's
Everything that
super
these just do.
cool.
Um, this is the best showing of villains since whatever his name is that I love
Stain.
and see. Yeah, from season two. Um, Great, no notes. I'm giving it right in the middle of them a 9.5 just because Conlon can't be right. And I do think it's not a perfect 10. Um, but it's great. Absolute fantastic time. Watch the show and enjoy this movie. Don't watch the show. Also, you can enjoy this movie. It's very, very good that way. It is so entertaining. It's so good. It's great.
Yeah, it's
I'm
great.
glad you guys enjoyed it. It's one of my favorite movies.
I
So,
really did. I hope that they do more with the concept of the villain because I liked the idea of like not all for one, the opposite. One for what is
Yeah,
the other
one.
guy's
one
name?
for all.
One for all. The concept of trying to like recreate one for all, but having him fall apart as it was just a cool villain. It was a really cool concept. I might even like it more than Stain, which is crazy, but I really thought the idea was cool, and the way that they brought it together in such a short period of time was excellent storytelling.
Yeah.
All right. I think with that, we're gonna go ahead and wrap up this episode. Thank you everybody for watching and or listening. Really appreciate everybody. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Give us suggestions. Please, please, please give us suggestions. Next week, we're gonna be watching a short series called The Tin Man. And if you want to join along with us, feel free to do so. Have a good day. Remember to be better today than you were yesterday.
See ya.